Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Pink Floyd Completion Project. Today, we're looking at the final cut, the final Pink Floyd album with Roger Waters, and the only Pink Floyd album without Richard Wright. Now, it's not great. A lot of fans consider this to essentially be a Roger Waters solo album. And up until today, I disagreed with that. Don't disagree with that anymore because I hadn't listened to this album in a while. Figured out the reason why when I put this in. It's a lot of... I wouldn't necessarily call it bad music, because if this was an album that came out today and I heard a song from it on the radio, I would go, holy shit, somebody's made something of quality. But as it stands with, because again, I essentially just reviewed the same album 3 times in a row, The Wall, and this album's origins are very much still within that album, which is why I haven't covered Nick Mason's first solo album yet, just because I want to get the story of The Wall over with so that we can move on to other shit. This was originally meant to be essentially outtakes for The Wall when they went in to start recording. It was called Spare Bricks. As previously mentioned several times, Rick was fired during the recording of The Wall and was allowed to stay on through the end of that tour, hoping he could get reinstated. That didn't happen. So you've got several different people. I'm just gonna look at the personnel now, but I do believe that Michael Kamen plays a little bit of keyboard on here. It's damn it, it's not fantastic. Okay, I'm not fighting with that. Andy Newmark plays drums on at least one song, I think. And I think they used several different keyboardists on this. So it starts off with the post-war dream. I already and when it started, I was just like, man, I already miss Rick. There's an orchestral piece in place of what would be a synth. The lyrics are already dark as fuck. This is a dark fucking album. The Wall's dark, but it has moments of lightness. This is just one slow, dark... I don't know what the fuck my neighbors are doing. This is just one slow, miserable, dark song after the other. Apart from, there's, a couple songs I like on here. We'll get there when we get there. It's not entirely devoid of quality, just mostly. There's very little Nick or Dave on this one. On Your Possible Pasts, it feels like 2 musically unconnected songs, alternating between each other. There's one acoustic piece, there's one that's very pissed off. Roger is in ego mode. Dave does have an awesome solo, but that's because he's Dave. David Gilmour, I think after Amagama, David Gilmour was pretty much incapable of playing a shit solo. The dude is a guitar god. And is the reason that I'm kicking this series into gear recently. And if you do watch these regularly, one of the 4 people that actually might watch this, thank you. Sorry that I'm cranking these out a little bit quick, but I kind of have to because I procrastinated. Anyway, Yeah, one of the few. It's brief, acoustic, dark. There's a ticking clock in the back. It's like a minute and a half. I have nothing to say. When the Tigers broke free, finally something cool after 3 iffy songs. It's still very orchestral yet sparse. It tells the story of the death of Roger's father. It was originally written for The Wall. It appeared in the movie. I do like this song. It's decent. I do go back and re-listen to this song occasionally, because outside of The Wall movie, it's still really damn good. If anything, The Wall movie drags it down, because The Wall movie is not the greatest way to experience that album. I will link my review to The Wall movie in the description. Look at me. Plugging shit. If you're liking this video so far, please leave a like on it. That's one last thing I have to talk about later. Cool. Alright. Yeah. The Hero's Return, finally some rock to start off. It finally has a little bit of energy. It's about the teacher from The Wall, the one from Happiest Days of Our Lives, the schoolmaster, as he's referred to in the trial. He doesn't like the current state of England. Musically, it's very much on par with the rest of the album. It's not great. This album also came out during and was being written during the war in the Falklands. I don't really know anything about that geopolitical situation. Lyrically, it has made this album age poorly, so that's not great. Yeah. The Gunner's Dream, it's a pilot's final words as he falls to his death. It's one of the best songs on the album. I like this one. It builds to a great sax solo, followed by a second verse, and then it just peters out after that. It's, again, there's a reason this is called, like, essentially Roger Waters' debut solo album. To a degree, people ain't wrong, because he's in full ego mode. He sings all but one song here, and basically Nick and Rick had surrendered and basically said to Roger, fine, do whatever you want, all the time, I don't care. That's where their minds were. Paranoid Eyes, yet another low-energy, morose song. Nobody shines, not even Roger. Roger's vocals are really hit and miss on this one. They're really hit and miss on most stuff, but on The Wall, they're pretty fucking good. This one, it's very hit or miss. Like, it varies song to song, how decently he does. Get Your Filthy Hands Off My Desert. It's lyrically dated, musically subpar. It's, again, another very brief piece. Almost didn't write anything down about it. I almost didn't take notes for this album, but then I remembered, oh wait, I haven't listened to this as many times. The next Floyd album that we look at, which isn't going to be for another little bit here, because we've got a round of solo albums, but the next Floyd album I look at, I know I'm not going to have to take notes. Yeah, Fletcher Memorial Home, finally another decent song. The theme is fuck politicians, they're egotists. Dave finally gets another guitar solo. It's cool. I liked this song enough that I did a history project for it in school once. I no longer have that project. I also did dogs off of animals for that project. I may have taken up 2.5 class periods, but that's okay. I had a good time making it. It's the only school assignment I gave a shit about. Anyway. Yeah, Dave finally gets another solo. Southampton Dock, another sad, quiet, acoustic thing. The moral is England shouldn't be involved. The Falklands War shouldn't be happening. That's the moral. Again, lyrically dated, musically subpar. The final cut, Back to the Gunner, I think. Musically, it's somewhat cool. The keys, like the keyboard, it's stolen from Comfortably Numb. The yep. It's lyrically dated, but Dave finally rips. He rips a very good solo. It's sad that he should have just played out the song. There's another verse. It kind of sucks. Yeah. Again, not a big fan of this album anymore. Wasn't that big a fan to begin with, but I liked it. I don't know where I stand now. Yeah, Not Now, John. Finally, this is the only song that Dave sings. I like this song largely because it's funny. I think it's the most cursing out of any Floyd song ever. It's not the only Pink Floyd song with cursing, but it's very much so. But the first word you hear on the song is "fuck." The literal first lyric is "fuck." Yeah. Yeah. There's a melodic and lyrical reprise of one of the few. Nick is half-assing the drums. It could be Andy Newmark. Dave rips another cool solo. Yeah. And then, finally, we come to Two Suns in the Sunset. The theme of this one, nukes are bad, album end, please. Yeah, sounds as half-assed as most of the rest of the album. Yeah, not a big fan of this one. Let's talk about the album cover briefly. So, something I neglected to mention. The wall, Hypnosis, which is the firm that Pink Floyd used for every album that they did, apart from their first one and then The Wall in this one. They had a falling out with Roger over the Animals cover. Gerald Scarfe designed The Wall, and then Roger designed this. His brother took the photograph. This is British military stuff. If you didn't know that and you just looked at it, you would go, "Wow, that is really shit graphic design." And I would argue it's not really in line with the rest of Pink Floyd's catalog. I really don't think it's all that great. If you didn't know that was military stuff, you'd just think that's just geometric shapes with the band and the title of the album very half-assedly stuck here in the corner in lowercase font. It's not great. Yeah, I would argue that Rush's Moving Pictures album cover is a lot more in line with Floydian energy. This does not give off... I look at this cover and I don't go, yeah, that's Pink Floyd. I just go, wow, that's shit. So, and I've always had that opinion about this cover. I don't really like it all that much. So, yeah. So, this is not the point where Roger leaves the Floyd officially, but he does. This is the last album he's on. We'll get there when we get there. Next time, hold on. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like on it. If you have something to add, if you enjoyed this album, good for you, right? Enjoy what you enjoy. I really don't care. I just don't like this album. I don't think it's anybody's favorite Floyd album. It's definitely not mine. And it kind of sucks coming off of the high from The Wall. It's definitely not as bad as Amagama or More. Those two are bad. But this is not great. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like on it. If you have something to add, add a comment. I'd love to hear from you. If you want to continue along this musical journey with me, please feel free to subscribe. If you want to hear me talk about something other than music, I have a podcast with two of my buddies. It's called Dorkies. I will leave a link to the most recent episode of that in the description. And if you want to hear what I'm listening to that day, or a 15-second segment at least, you can follow me on Instagram at Sean_Heastern1979. Next time, we are going to be looking at Nick's debut solo album, and then next week, it is purely Floyd members' solo albums. With that, I would like to thank you all very much for watching, and then I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.